Hi, Julie Powell here. In this video, I thought I'd do a little bit of a deep dive into color effects. I know I've already gone through and did an update on what's new in Nik Collection 6, but I thought I would come in and have a look at some of my favorite programs and some of the benefits that you can get from it. So I've opened this image in Photoshop, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to filters, go to Nik, and I'm going to go to color effects. So it just takes a second to open up. Okay, so there's heaps of filters and things that are available in color effects. So you can either go through all of them and have a look at them one by one by one. You can add multiple ones. Don't forget you have got your before and after slider, which you can turn off if you want to. But it is handy sometimes to have it there, maybe just pushed to the side. Some of the things that you may want to look at which work really well is the detail extractor. So just clicking the plus will put it over into your list of filters. You will know that it's turned on by the fact that it's got that orange line there, and anything that you use all the time, perhaps you could put a star rating so it's easier to find it. Now if you click on this drop down, then you've got different values of that preset that you can use. So that's the default, so you can really see sort of the bokeh that's coming through, and of course now we've got a bit more, and you can see when I zoom in, the detail. Oops, let's just bring that down. You can really see the detail that it has brought in, but perhaps I don't want that to the whole image. So I can add these control points, and I'm going to add one right on that snail there. I can then come through and I can play with the strength of how much I want that particular filter, which is this detail extractor, to apply to it. I can change how big it is. I can change, oops, when I click on it, I can change how big or small it is. I can change the luminance, chromiance, and diffusion. Now you might be thinking, what do all these do? Well, if you actually turn the mask on, and if you come in and you can see when I click on it, so you can see how much it is affecting various details of the image by playing around with that. Now the chromiance is also affecting different areas, and you can zoom in or zoom out to see how much that it is affecting, and the same with the diffusion. So if you click, and you can play around with it, so you can really see how much it is affecting your image. So if I turn it on and off, you can see, hopefully I'll just zoom in there. So if I turn that on and off, you can see how much the details are really affecting it. And I might just turn that up a bit. So if I just pop that one up, I can then come in and I can have a look at some of the others. Some more that are really good that you can put in, not just the detail extractor, but you can darken and lighten the center, which is another one. So just click on that and just go plus, and that will add it to your filter stack. I'm just going to zoom out so you can see before and after. So it has sort of added like a bit of a vignette. You can change the size and the shape, so if you want more of a square vignette, You can change the luminosity in the center. You can change the border luminosity, so that will make it quite light on the edge, and this will make it quite a bit darker. You can decide to where you want the center to be placed, and of course you've still got all your control points that you can put in there as well. So that's another one which is also really cool. If you come in, Indian Summer is another one that I really like, so I'm just going to click on that. I'm going to drop that down, and I do kind of like this soft red. You can come in and do more of an orange or a yellow. You've got various things that you can do to it, so that's enhancing the color. It says enhancing foliage, but what it's doing, it's enhancing that tone that is there. So if I changed it to more of a yellow or more of an orange, you would see that. You've still of course got that U point, so I'm going to put that in. I can play with, so it's really only the mask that is happening in this area. I can have it to just the whole thing, or I can switch over to the mask, and I can of course play with the luminance and the chrominance. I can't speak English, and you can play with those as well. So you can see, if I turn the mask off, subtle changes that it makes to that. Just working my way through. I can also come in and do sunlight. So if I click on that, that will add in sunlight. There's bright contrast, which is probably too much. Default. So I'm just going to come in through here. Sometimes it's helpful to collapse those little sliders so that you can see what you're doing. So here you've got light strength, you've got the light temperature, so if you want it to be more of a cold light or a warm light, you can adjust the brightness. It's probably a bit too bright, and of course with each of the filters you can drop the opacity down, so it doesn't have to be super bright the whole way through. Some of the others which are really cool, so the vignette blur, so you can come in and do a blur on the vignette. You can decide how much or how little, and of course you've got your viewpoint that you can put in. So it is only, oops, I did two. I only want it to affect just sort of the middle of the image. Maybe even I might bring that up a little more. I want everything to be outside that to be quite a bit blurrier, so I can I did sunlight twice. Let's try that. So now I've added the vignette to it. I can come in, you've got different shapes, so you can have more of a rounded vignette. The transition, whether you want it to be strong, how big, how small you want it. The opacity, you can play around with that. So there's lots you can do to it. There's vignette blurs, there's filter blurs, there's lens blurs, and of course once you've stacked all that up and you really like it, then you can save it. So I'm just going to summer grass, just because that's basically what it is, and then once you hit apply, you can take it back into Photoshop. Now if I hit convert to smart object before I have taken it back into Photoshop, so now if I decide I want to go back in and I want to make some changes. So this is the original image and this is the one that I did in Nik. I can then just double click that and I can come back in and I can continue working on that image if I wish to. So that's really, really handy to be able to have that. So there's lots of things that you can do with Nik Color Efex. It really does enhance the color, the toning. It allows you to do some really, really beautiful things to your images, whether it's portraits or whether it's landscape or macro. Pretty much anything. You can find various different presets to work with color effects, and you don't have to use all of them. You can just use one or two. You can stack them all up into one preset, or you can use one preset at a time and bounce backwards and forwards. So it's up to you. But this is the final image that I am at the moment. So I did a little bit of detail extraction. I did a blurred vignette around the outside edge just to draw the viewer's eye in. I did some color toning and I added some sunlight to my image as well. So just a few simple things that I have taken it from this image to bringing it into here, and especially that detail extractor, which can be quite amazing on pulling out the details on small items. So yeah, so that's it for Color Efex, and thanks for watching.